try to do that. So I know people won't go ahead and do that because I know there's love for the school, but there's all this politics too, man, that comes with it too. I'm here to tell you today is that you got to start investing in yourself. This right now is the biggest investment that you're going to make in a lifetime. And you have a responsibility to be successful. My story is pretty unique. And the reason why I speak with so much confidence is because I built a practice in California, sold the practice, moved to a different state in Florida where I didn't know one person, not one soul. I've been here for a year and a half, right? And did it again. And it's not just because like, I'm confident in what I do, but it took systems. And that's what I want to talk about today is I want to talk about systems. What makes sense, right? Raise your hand if people have told you when you get out of school, go and be an associate. Raise your hand. I'm going to just go through this real quick. That's like almost everyone in this goddamn chat right now, right? And the thing is this is you got to ask yourself, the person that's telling you to go be associate, what was their history? Did they ever own a business? You got people that never done it before telling you not to do it. Think about that for a second. That makes absolutely no sense. You got people who've never been in business before for themselves. They've only worked for someone and received a W-2 and never been in practice for themselves, telling you, go ahead and be an associate. If the option's not even open, how can you explore it? My thing is this. Being self-employed brings power, right? All of us here became chiropractors for many different reasons. But I know a lot of us in this chat right now wanted a lifestyle. A lifestyle. Me personally, I work 22 hours a week. 22 hours a week, right? That if if you equate that to what other average chiropractors are working when they work for somebody, they're working dog hours. I'm talking about 50, 60 hours, right? And probably making 10% of what I make. Maybe even less, to be honest. A lot of associates, when they get out of school, they offer you $40,000, $50,000, right? But think about what's on top of that, $250,000 in loans, right? Here's the mistake. When we get out of school, we go into these associateships. You never learn how to run a business. Why? Because you treat the job like a 9 to 5. Tell me I'm wrong on this. You go in, you work as an associate. They give you your hours, right? At the end of the day, you're tired. You don't want to stay for the after hours. But guess what the hours are? That's actually when you are running a business. But you go home. But you're saying, oh, but I want to be an associate because I want to learn from somebody and learn how to do it. Yeah, you may learn some table talk, you may learn all that stuff, but do you know how to balance out a book? Do you know how to hire employees? Do you know how to run a corporation? Do you know how to start a corporation? These are things that are not usually taught in an associateship. What I find is that people graduate, right? They graduate, get into these associateships, maybe they're 2 or 3 years, then they get in their own business and they still have the same learning curve that someone would have initially when they get out of school. Guess what happened in those 3 years? Your student loans just went skyrocketing. Why? Because you didn't invest in your vision. Here's the key. Here's the key. This is something that I told Zach a while ago on the phone. People always talk about student loans all the time. Student loans are really important. I think you should pay it off. But the first thing that comes to mind when you should graduate is how can I create value, right? Value creation goes over your student loans Because what does value creation create? Capital. When you have capital, you can pay your student loans of one fell swoop. Why? Because you created value for somebody. But the problem is we don't think we're valuable when we graduate. If you don't think you're valuable, no one else is going to value what you do. So how can we change this? All of us in here, we have a vision, right? The time is now to really start to dial in on these visions, right? Be with mentors that make you, that inspire you, right? They say you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Look around your circle, and not just your student circle, your doctor circle. Do you have anyone around you that inspires you, that you want to practice that way? If the answer is no, then we got to start to reevaluate who's in that circle. Another thing is this. A lot of people have reasoning on why they shouldn't open up practice. Maybe they got family members, they got this, they got that. People tell them that they're not ready. Let me ask you this. How do you know you're not ready if you never tried? That's the thing. Being a mentor for the last 4 years of all these docs, people tell me the same thing. I'm not ready. 4 years pass, guess what they tell me? I'm not ready. Think about that for a second. When do you actually become ready for the big moment? I'm gonna tell you this right now with the utmost honesty. With the utmost honesty. Today's world is the easiest to practice chiropractic compared to what it was originally. Let me explain the 2 different models. Originally, when I first got into practice, right, I had to do screenings, right? These screenings entailed me going out to different businesses, setting up tables, and doing all this stuff. I don't know if anyone in here has done screenings before, but how embarrassing are screenings sometimes? Like, it's funny. People come up to you at the screen and be like, wait, so you're the doctor? I'm like, yeah, I'm the doctor and I'm the secretary and I'm everything. And, it can be embarrassing, right? And when I first built my practice, it was all off referrals. When you're building a practice off referrals, it's super strong, but there's also like, you don't know where your patients are coming from. Like one week you may get 3 referrals, 3 weeks from now you may get another referral, but there's no consistency in how these new patients are coming in. Today the game has changed. Today we have social media marketing. Social media marketing. Since I've started social media marketing, I get 40 patients guaranteed. Guaranteed. At that point, what do I need to do? All I need to do is close the patient. Close the patient on the big idea of chiropractic. Do you understand what that means? I just want to put that in words. Right now, you guys are students. The hardest thing about practice is having a constant influx of new patients, right? If you're able to take that out and all of a sudden get new patients in, all you got to do is be a good doctor and have good systems. The game has simplified. It's laughable how easy it is today in today's world compared to what it used to be. I'm telling you, to come to a place and have a year that I just had and not even be here and not know a soul, it's just like it's unthinkable what's possible now. And it's only going to get better when you guys get out there. But the truth is, you got to believe in yourself. So let's talk business. So you graduate school, and those shared numbers that I just talked about. You graduate school, and hey Zach, I like your work. You're a great chiropractor. I want you to come work for me, right? Well, what's the salary look like? What do I got to do in the job? So I want you to go out there, Zach. I want you to bring new patients to the clinic, right? I want you to go out there and bring new patients to the clinic. And you're like, okay, cool. I'll get some experience going out there and getting out there, bringing new patients to the clinic. Zach, what else you're gonna do is I'm gonna have you adjust on these hours. You're gonna start at 9. You're gonna end at 5, Monday through Friday. You're like, okay, that's cool. That's cool. Zach, what else I want you to do is I want you to run my social media platform too as well. And you're like, oh yeah, I got some experience with doing that. I'm totally cool. And guess what, Zach? We're gonna pay you really well. I'm gonna pay you $50,000 a year. So Zach's like, okay, this is cool. So now Zach goes out there, right? Brings new patients into this clinic, right? What is Zach doing right there? He's already learning how to market, right? If Zach can go out there and bring patients to the clinic already, why can't he do that for himself? The difference of mindset. 50K, he's capped. In his own practice, it's unlimited. Do you understand that? He's capped. What he's doing, he's building someone else's vision and not building his own. Because as you start to bring patients in, you start bringing these patients in. Zach goes to an area where maybe he has family ties. All his family ties come into the clinic. Zach doesn't see no money out of that. Zach gets a flat salary. But Zach's still putting in the work like he's running his own clinic, but he's doing it for someone else's vision. Just nod your head if you follow what I'm saying. So here's the thing. You go ahead and you go into an associateship, but you got to look at the picture. Like, I don't think people step back and look at the picture. If you look at the picture, you look at it in an associateship, a lot of these they do compensation based. Basically, they're based on your performance from the clinic. How many new patients can you bring into the clinic? And basically what it averages out to is almost $5 to $10 per person. But you're out there doing all the work, getting all the people into the clinic. You could have just been doing that for yourself. But you're saying, oh, no, but I got to get experience. I got to get experience. Here's something simple that you can do to get experience. You open up a practice with a mentor, that's going to walk and coach you through the process. Or you surround yourself of people that are really successful and call them and talk to them and open up to them about the process. But some people say, I need to get experience. What experience are you exactly looking for? Because that experience should have happened in clinic. Do you understand that? When I was in clinic, I brought in over 50 new patients. 50 new patients. Broke the clinic adjustment record while I was in school. The reason why I did that, because that was the preparation. It's not the real world, because now it's on your dime. So the truth is this. You get out, the clock is ticking when you get out of school. Why not go to school and clinic and prosper there? But if you're in there, you're doing bare minimum. How do you expect to ever get that to get the knowledge, to get the experience that you actually need? But the truth is like a lot of people just cruise by. They just cruise by like I get minimum numbers. No, you should go in there and treat that practice like it's your practice. So there's a pandemic going on right now. So you would think businesses are in a flurry right now. No one's going to see chiropractors. This is so not true. It's the best time to be a chiropractor. The reason why is because people are questioning their health, right? They're looking for alternatives. They're looking for different opinions. Practice has never been this good. And actually, it's never been this easy. And I say that in the most kindest way possible. But truthfully, people are finding me. They're seeking me out because they need help. They need a different perspective, because the perspective of just being on medication for the rest of your life, the perspective of possibly dealing with an injury for the rest of your life and not having an alternative costs more. You owe it to yourself to be successful. Think about that. You owe it to yourself to be successful. 250,000 is nothing to play around with. It's nothing to play around with. And as the months go on, that debt gets larger and larger and larger. But we happen to be in a pandemic. So what the hell does that mean? Right now, loans are at 0% interest. 0% interest. You know what that does? That buys you time to be successful. So why the hell would you go work for somebody when that time is clicking, when you can build your own thing? Now I'm going to break down some math for you. Okay. We talked about new patients. Raise your hand if you think getting 2 new patients a week is hard. If you went out and you talked to everyone you knew, you blasted on Facebook, you did all this stuff, raise your hand if you think getting 2 new patients actually is doable. Raise your hand. A week. There we go. Majority of you just raise your hand. Say you just graduated school, you're not that good. You're going to go ahead and sell something that we call it is a care plan, right? I don't know exactly where some of you guys are going to be located. Let's say we're in the Sunshine State, or say we're in the Golden State of California. Those are the 2 places I know. The Golden State, you could charge a little bit more than the Sunshine State. Just being honest on that one. So say you're in California. You can sell a care plan easy out there for like $2,000, and that's about 6 months of care, right? Say you got 2 new patients, right? 2 new patients for the first for the first week, second week, third week, and fourth week. That's 8 new patients. Say you did a decent job of closing them. You closed half of the people, right? That's 4 people. 4 people times 2,000 will give you $8,000. Let's do the math. Let's say they did those numbers the whole year. $8,000. That means that practice is already making $96,000 compared to the associate that's making $50,000. That's simple math. Then you talk about overhead. You talk about all this stuff. It doesn't need to look so pretty when you first start practice. It doesn't need to look like the big square building. What I think people make a mistake on is they think they need to have the $30,000 overhead. That's not the smartest thing to do. It's to keep the overhead very, very low, build up clientele, and then you get the dream practice. But people think it has to be perfect when you get out of school. It does not have to be perfect. It's the farthest thing from perfect. You could go ahead and rent a space somewhere, very cheap, right? Because these clients that start with you initially when you get out of school are going to be your ride or die patients. They're the ones that are going to be with you when you didn't have shit. And they're going to be there forever. Why? Because they knew you when you were still in that small room before you had the big office. Right? What I'm telling you is that you got to build relationships. And it's easy to build relationships when you're building for yourself versus someone else. Does that make sense? So I'm going to go back to that math again. Most practices tend to, especially in the first 3 years, they tend to double up, right? So say we use those shared numbers again. That person practiced first year, did 96,000, and Zach is still over here. Zach, no offense, because I know you're not going to do this, is making $50,000 as an associate. Zach thinks he needs to be somewhere for 3 years to learn and stays there for 3 years and makes $50,000 as an associate. That practice in 3 years that went out on their own, they're now doing $300,000 a year. Now, that person that making $300,000 a year can put more money to his student loans, right? Versus the person who's making $50,000 a year, barely can afford a lifestyle, right? Is putting all their money towards student loans, right? That's 2 different lifestyles. One was focused on value creation, created the value, and then he's able to pay off the student loans, right? Versus if I waste time in a situation that I'm not really learning what I need to learn, those loans continue to grow and I'm still living bare minimum. When it comes to business, one of the key things is practice. The more you do it, the better you get at it. There's this word that you guys probably don't even know yet. I know some of you guys that have done my series know what this word means. It's called a write-off. Once you understand the power of a write-off, then you never go back to wanting to be an employee again. Right? Let me explain what a write-off is. Raise your hand if you know what a write-off is. I see some hands going up. Wait, keep your hand raised. Hey Morgan, what's a write-off?
Everything.
Tell me about it.
Basically anything that is, what is the code? It's like anything that is deemed necessary in the pursuit of income.
There we go. Close. I thought you have it. So, me as a nerd, I've read the tax code book twice. So, section 162A states anything that's ordinary and necessary for your particular business in the pursuit of income is considered to be a write off. Think about that for a second. I'm going to let that marinate. Anything that's ordinary and necessary in the pursuit of income is considered to be a tax write off. Man, what ordinary and necessary? Why would they use such broad terms? Ordinary and necessary in the pursuit of income. And people go, man, why come Amazon don't pay no money in taxes? Why come Donald Trump pays no money in taxes? It's not that they don't pay money in taxes because you're always going to pay payroll taxes. But the thing is that your lifestyle becomes your business. Your lifestyle becomes your business. Let me explain. I'm with my lady, right? We go out to dinner. She's not an employee of the business. She is a confidant of the business. She puts eyes on my business that I can't understand, right? We do this over dinner, right? We talk about the business. She tells me things that I can't see for myself because I'm fully in it and she's not. That dinner becomes what now? A write-off. Let me give you another example. You need to travel, right, to France because you're going to do a seminar in France. That trip becomes a full write-off. Why? Because it's ordinary and necessary for your business on the pursuit of income. I'm going to tell you this quick story. This story always amazes me, right? There was this person that had this boat, right? This nice boat. It was $1 million boat. She was a real estate agent. And the real estate agent, she wrote this boat off and the IRS audited her, right? They got the right people around them. They investigated it, right? And when they investigated it, they needed to see all the records. They came up with all the records of all the people that were on that boat. They found one person on that boat that was on that boat for that year that they did a house transaction with. That person brought property from them. She won the audit. The $1 million boat was a complete write-off because of one person that was on that boat that year that brought a house from her because it was ordinary and necessary for her business. When you hear the word entrepreneur, you guys should get excited, right? Think about it. You're a chiropractor. You're healing people. You're doing great work for people. You're owning your own business. You're making your own hours, and you're able to live a lifestyle of a business owner. Something about that to me is attractive. And I know everyone in this room thinks about that at times. But the process of getting to that scares you. And I'm telling you today, don't be scared of it. Back to business, right? When I talk about systems, there's a couple ways that I've seen practices be successful. And I'm just going to talk about it because uh, it's different strokes for different folks. Like everyone loves different things, right? A couple practices I see not to be successful too. When my practice, I run something called care plans, right? Care plans is a recommendation from a doctor where I give you a frequency, I give you a time frame, I give you a cost. And I'm the person who should be an expert in health, and I'm giving you my determination of what you need, right? That's going to get you to where you want to get to. And I put a dollar amount to it. That's something called a care plan, right? What I've seen also be successful, but a little bit more value, is a membership practice. A membership practice is where it's like a gym. Everyone comes in and they pay a certain membership. Some people say you come in unlimited. Some people have a membership where you come in like 8 times in a month or something like that. There's a limit to it. But the membership practice can be, I would say it can be easier, but the reward is not as high as a clear plan practice. But they both can be really good. And then I also see the visit by visit. Raise your hand if anyone in here has been to a visit by visit doctor. Raise your hand. Where you pay per the visit. A couple people in here. The reason why I'm not a big fan of visit by visit practices is because you got to think about what we do, right? What we're trying to do is change the neurology of somebody, right? I always consider it like if I'm working out, like I'm at the gym or something like that, you train the body, right, to get strong muscles. That takes time. Same thing with healing. What I find with visit by visit, there's more stake in one visit than many visits. I always at the seminars, you guys always hear me say this is I call it the game 7 adjustment. Like if that person doesn't feel better by the end of that visit, they're gonna be, oh, chiropractic doesn't work. That's why I find that kind of practice style more stressful. The reason why is because healing takes time. And if you want to go ahead and be, you know, healing everyone on one visit, and I understand that that can definitely happen. But what I'm saying is that when you get someone into the system of chiropractic, that's when it's easy to transfer someone into wellness practice, right? Wellness practice. Wellness patients are the best patients in your practice. Why? It's because they come in, they know the deal, they sit down, they lay face down on the table, and they get adjusted, right? But those patients came in initially with the problem. And let me go into this a little bit. I know no one thinks that chiropractic should help people with back pain. I hear that shit all the time. But people say they go to clinics, right? They're like, no, I got all wellness patients. No, you don't. Stop it. Stop lying. People come to see a chiropractor because they have a problem, right? You as the doctor are able to help them with that problem. Once you're able to help them with their problem, they're able to listen to you. Why? Because you did something. When you do something to somebody and you shift their consciousness, they're more open to a wellness model. Then that patient becomes the lifetime wellness model and is also a walking billboard for your practice. You guys following me? It's like hard to tell if people are following me. Shake your head if you're following me. Give me a thumbs up if you understand what I'm saying. There we go. Okay. All right. So I've been going off now for 40 minutes. I should probably shut the hell up. All right. So let's let me wrap this up here. One, If I can give you any advice right now, the advice is to build your vision. How do you want to practice? How many people do you want to see? What do you want to charge? What does the office look like? Right? And I want you to sit with that number. Sit with the number that you want to charge. And what I did when I was in chiropractic school, and I'm going to tell you guys this now to do the same thing. Go in your mirror and write with lipstick on the mirror how much you want to charge for an adjustment. And then I want you to say this in the mirror. That's going to be $95. That's going to be $85. Because you got to be comfortable with talking about money. When it comes to money, I find that chiropractors are the biggest scaredy cats when it comes to talk about money. And that is the disconnect between the people who are successful and not successful. That's the big disconnect. When it comes about money, people get scared to talk about it. Like you should not get paid for your services. But guess what? You know how many times I've been to the dentist? You know, they do all types of things. They close your mouth and drilling on you, and you're like, what the hell's going on? And they start talking to you about lame conversations that you don't want to talk about. But then at the end, you sit at the table, right? And they go, that's $3,000. You're like, God damn, just for some teeth cleaning? But there's no question of doubt. They'll always ask for the money. But when it comes to chiropractors, we're like, oh, well, maybe I'll give you this discount, or maybe this one's free, or oh, let me ease on the situation. No, you got to get comfortable with talking about money. It's a money exchange. You're providing a service, you should get paid for it. It's really important that you understand that chiropractic is a three-legged stool. A three-legged stool means that with one stool missing, it falls apart. You got to know the art of chiropractic. You got to be damn good at it. You got to be damn good at it. Can you take someone from dis-ease to ease? You got to be good at it. Because the system that I'm talking about running doesn't make sense if you're not good at it. You must train your body to be optimal at giving the chiropractic adjustment. Communication. You need to learn to talk the talk. What I'm telling you is that you need to take a non-believer into believer, and the adjustment backs that shit up. You're not just blowing smoke. You can deliver on what you are promising. I find that is the biggest disconnect with chiropractors. They can talk the business talk, but they suck at the skill set. And the third thing is you need to learn how to run a business. If you do these three things well, you would have a very easy life in practice, and you will be very prosperous, and you will help a lot of people. I'm going to open up to some questions. I think I only got like 17 minutes here. Zach, how should I do this? Because there's so many people here.
Yeah, if you could just unmute yourself if you have a question, and you could raise your hand, but we might not see it because there's so many people. So just unmute yourself.
Yeah, awesome. So for like your care plans, and you said you do care plan based and wellness patients are the best, do you still put your wellness patients on a care plan, or do you do like a wellness type membership?
That's a good question, because I think I wasn't super clear on that part. Spencer, the idea that people come in and saying like, hey man, I'm feeling perfectly good. I'm just trying to just feel perfectly better. So please adjust me. It's rare, right? It's very rare. What happens is most people come in with a particular issue, right? If someone, let me give you sheer numbers. People that come in with that talk, like I just want to be under wellness care. One, they probably saw a chiropractor and they don't know their body well enough, right? That they told them that, oh, you're just on wellness. But truthfully, they got these issues that are really going on. So what you got to do is you got to be the chiropractor to figure that out and make sure that they're not just on this like twice a week or once a week routine just because of maintenance, or they're generally getting better, right? So what I find is I break the cycle of people that are like, oh yeah, I usually just see a chiropractor once a month. But you don't know that person's issues. Then you do a history, all of a sudden they're telling you they got sciatic pain, they got headaches, they got neck pain. That person needs care. They don't need to come in once every other month. So the thing that's important, Spence, is you deciphering, right? You being able to decipher who needs what. And majority of the time, people need care initially, and then they move into wellness care, right? So I would say people that come in for wellness is probably like 2 to 3%. 97% of people that come in are usually people that are seeking care.
Yeah, I think that provides a lot of clarity. I think what I'm asking is, once they are transitioned into wellness care, how does that look for them after the active care plan? Do you find, if you find another issue, do you put them on another active care plan? Obviously,
No. But I think, like I said, I believe if you are really good at the art, that's going to find its way to kind of fizzle itself out, where the person's going to actually feel better, right? When that person feels better, it's a great time to talk about why this is a lifestyle choice, right? Why this is something that you need in your life. So yeah, the transition usually goes to that. It doesn't usually go to another care plan unless another issue comes up, then we'll settle it at that point. But usually what I find is people are usually in good routine by the end of a care plan, and that they're good to smooth to transition to wellness. Thank you.
And not to speak for you, Paul, but Paul does have packages set in for when they do transition to wellness, so it is a different payment plan. I think that was also your question, Spence. Yeah.
I have a question. How do you decide what your base pay is? Like if you're doing an all cash practice, like how do you decide what your going rate is?
All right, who's that? Is that Emily?
No, it's Brienne.
All right, let me find you here. Brienne. Okay.
No.
Oh, okay, cool. So what was the question again?
How do you decide what to charge, like your base pay, or
Right.
does that make
So
sense?
like what would be the standard adjustment cost? Right. So I think you got to do research on the area. So what I did is I called, when I got into practice, I called the 5 closest practices near me. Then I called the 5 practices that were in like a very affluent area. Then I called the 5 practices that were in more of like a lower income area. And what I did is I saw the range, right? And then what you can do at that point is you can figure out what range do I kind of want to charge, because it's the market, right? The market tells you what you're worth. Like you could go out there and be like, I'm worth, I remember I was coaching this girl, she got me so pissed off. She was like, yeah, it's $200 an adjustment. But she had no patience. I was like, but you don't have any patience. And she was like, yeah, but I'm not going to devalue myself. I was like, well, no one's valuing you. That's the problem. So what I think is important is that whatever the market is allowing you to charge and you're meeting the standards of the market, then you can go ahead and pick the price. But the price comes from when you kind of do your research or figure out what people are charging. Here's a little trick though. When you first start in practice, you find out what people are charging, you just go a tad bit lower, right? Once you get established, you bring that price up to where it should be. The reason why I say that is because that comes to mind when people are shopping for chiropractors. $3 difference, $2 difference. It's a very small difference, but it's a trick that always works. If I'm $3 lower than someone else, I'll probably get the shop before someone else. But once my practice is established, I can go ahead and bring those prices to wherever they need be, because I have the clientele and I have the reputation behind it as well. So I hope that answers your question.
Thank you.
I got a question. So you spoke.
Who's that there?
This is Philip Mosley.
Okay.
So you spoke about Facebook and social media ads as being like priority in today's day and age for getting clients and
Right.
patient practice members. So could you just go a little bit more into that as far as, is that the only way that you suggest that people are getting practice members, or do you have other strategies at play?
Yeah, that's a very good question. That's a deep question, but I'm gonna give you the information anyway, because you know why? Because I want you to succeed. So, one, Facebook marketing is a beast of a market, right? The reason why is because you put an ad out there that's catchy. People, okay, so people are coming to you with this kind of unknown about chiropractic, right? They come to you because when you do like an ad like that, you're putting the price like kind of lower because you're trying to get the people that don't know much about chiropractic, but you make the barrier of entry very low. Why? It's because when the barrier of entry is very low, you got Chad or whatever that are willing to give chiropractic a try. The reason why I love that is because if you're a good chiropractor, you're giving them an experience of a lifetime. That person becomes a non-believer or not really understanding what chiropractic is to a full believer. And that person's all in on your care plan at that point. So what you did is you used marketing tactics to get people in the office that you normally won't get. When people are searching for chiropractors online, those are people that probably have been to chiropractors before, right? So you're getting the quality of that patient, they're coming in with the knowledge of it should be this way, right? But when you get someone new and fresh to chiropractic, that's one of the best patients that you can get. Why? Because you get to train them in your philosophy, right? From the get-go. That's why I think Facebook is so powerful. How else do I come at that too? As I use Google ads too. Google ads are basically when you go and search chiropractor, my name is the first thing that comes up. That deal is the first thing that comes up too as well. What happens is with Google ads, it's a little bit slower than Facebook, but these two markets right now are very good. The third avenue is referral based. How would you do that? Let me give you an example of what I just did. I did a raffle at the office, right? So I brought a nice TV, right? I did a raffle. I said, hey, if you refer anybody, you can put your name into the raffle. Well, I got 15 referrals, right? Because people, one, they like the work that I'm doing, and now they're getting something in return. They've been wanting to refer somebody, and boom, they go ahead and refer somebody, right? So that's called in-house marketing, right? Using the clientele that you already have, right, to build more clientele. Using social media is another avenue. In the old school way, you can't go without it, and that's called screenings, man. And I hate them, but I'm really good at them. But they're fun. So hopefully that answers your question.
Absolutely.
Do you run seminars?
Who was that?
That was Grant.
Do it. You said, do I run seminars?
Yeah, I can answer that question. Just want to do some promotion of Paul's seminars. There's a part 1 in Atlanta, the 21st and 22nd of February. If you would like to go to that and you're not an Atlanta student, you can get in contact with me. And then there's also part 2 coming up here in Dallas, which is the 27th and 28th of February. And that is in Dallas. Paul, would you say that if we don't book up off of all the part 1s, would you say that someone who missed part 1 could still go to part 2?
Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt. Here's the thing. Before we even get into all that, I charge very low for my seminars. I tell these guys this all the time. Dude, I make so much money in practice. I don't really give a damn what I make at a seminar. I do this for you guys because I want people to be successful. Truthfully, all I want to do is give you the tools so when you graduate school, right, you're able to go out and start your own practice, right? What the hell is a corporation? How do I set it up? Where do I plan my practice? What state do I go to? What state has the best laws? These are things that we should know, right? Then we get into adjusting. Then we get into communication. What are some conversations that I'm having with them? How do I sell someone a care plan? What does a care plan look like, right? What's the time frame of a care plan? How do you transition someone to wellness? How to do a new patient exam? These things that they tell you in school that are like bajillion hours long are things that are dabbled down into something that's formulated and for you to be really successful. I want to give a shout out to someone right now. I don't know if you guys know him, but Travis Stewart. He's someone that's in my program right now where I'm coaching him. The guy graduated from school. He wasn't sure if he wanted to get into practice. And I said, I said this to him jokingly. I was like, I will go to Texas privately and punch you in the face if you don't go into practice for yourself. He laughed about it, and then he finally said he's going to do it. My man is 3 months into practice, and he's already netting major profit, almost close to breaking $10,000 a month. Almost close in 3 months. That's way better than I did because he's taking the knowledge of my mistakes, and making his to his benefit. He was mad because he didn't hit 10,000. I was like, bro, you know how long it took me to hit $10,000 in a month of practice? That's the kind of success I wish for everyone in this group. And it's no time right now to waste. Right now, it's time to just get better. And I'm sick of doctors always stealing from students. The truth is, you guys are the future, and don't just get brought into like, I'll come into my practice, and then they end up screwing you. Like, take this time to really find who you really trust, who's going to be able to give you the information to be a better doctor, to be a better business owner. That's my piece on that. One last question.
I got another one. No one else has one.
Who's that now? Oh,
Phil.
Phil. All right, Phil. You ready, bro? All right.
You also spoke about mentorship, and when you go into practice,
Right.
that it's not necessarily that you're going to get any more experience from that you couldn't have got from student clinic.
Right.
How would you suggest to go into practice with a mentor without necessarily working for that individual,
Right.
but kind of having their backing to help you going into practice?
That's a good question. I think there's a lot of people out there that are doing mentorship. So say Phil, you know a chiropractor that is successful. You can set something up with them, like do weekly phone calls, and maybe they'll charge you a small amount, but that small amount will be very easy because it's giving you an escalade up to something that could, potentially bring you a lot of success, right? So I think you just got to find the people out there. I know there's some seminars out there that people are teaching some kind of mentorship. Like I really feel like there's a lot of good people out there teaching and allowing people to benefit off mentorship. So there's a lot of people out there, and I think that's the best way to go. The reason why is because you don't need mentors for too long, because once you get the ball rolling, you're gonna put your spin on it. Like I got one more month left with Travis, and that'll be month 4. And then, he's already at a place where now he's going to make the decisions to build on that foundation. So a lot of times people want to suck money out of people for a long period of time, but truthfully, all we got to do is build that foundation where you're able to take a patient in, bring him into your system, have that patient turn into a lifetime patient. If you can do that continuously, then you're going to have a great business. You just need some guidance sometimes when you're doing that initially. Some people can get it on their own, but what I'm saying is that sometimes it's easy to ask for help.
Thank you.
Yep. We got one more minute. We got one more minute. I know we got someone out there. Don't be shy.
Hi, I have a question. What
Oh, Jazzy.
was your first milestone to expansion in when it was just you in a room? I guess what was an example that you or something that you hit?
Oh yeah, $10,000 is the first milestone. I can break down even more. So there's certain milestones that allow you to open things up, but when it comes to milestones are averages, right? So say if I'm in practice in my early days of practice, if I'm averaging more than 10 patients a month, and I'm bringing in like around $10,000, whatever that equates to, then you're at the stepping one. I think right there, if you can average that for 3 months straight, your practice, that's going to be the baseline, right? The next step I find is $20,000, right? When you're around $20,000, these are the practices that are doing really well, right? But this person already has a CA, because at $10,000, that's when you should really be thinking about getting a CA, right? At that point, it's hard to do everything on your own. You want to look into really getting the CA. In between that space there, that's when you could potentially bring in an associate, or you can grow your hours, or do something of that liking. The next jump is actually 40,000. In that space between there, like 40,000, your practice is doing very, very well a month, right? So those are usually the dividers there. Anything above 40,000, I mean, you're in big time practice, and you're in a small group of people that's like the 1%. Which I'm grateful to be in at times, that do those kind of numbers.
Cool. Thank you.
Yep. All right. Well, I know my time here is done. I hope you guys got something out of this.
Always.
And
Always.
and I appreciate you guys, and I look forward to all you guys being really successful. And just remember, man, don't ever doubt yourself. Always stay true to who you are and what your vision is, and don't let anyone tell you that you can't do it, because you can. Because I'm a regular kid from the inner city, man, and now I'm living a lifestyle I could never dream of, man. I can do whatever I want when I want, and I wish that for everybody in this room.
Thank you, Paul. Really appreciate you always. Thanks for spending the night with us. If you guys want to reach out, Paul, I think it's Dr. Paul Ofili on Instagram. I know I reached out when I was young. I'm still young, but back in the day, and he would always answer. So feel free to reach out to him, and look out for those Samurai series wherever they're going. We got to hop on to the next one. Really appreciate you. All the work.
Appreciate you, Dr. Paul.
Oh man, appreciate y'all, man.
Have a great night.
All right, man. Peace.